Russia has changed a lot since then. Today I want to tell you about the unique life I experienced when I came to Russia. Imagine entering a 212-deck room where strangers offer to perform a platza ritual on your naked body using bundles of birch branches, a practice considered rude to refuse in Russia. This unconventional ritual, where people gently beat each other with venic bundles, birch, oak, or eucalyptus branches, offers remarkable health benefits. A platza increases circulation by 400%, opens pores, releases toxins more effectively than modern detox programs, and provides aromatherapy from natural oils. Russian medical literature extensively documents Banya benefits, including improved cardiovascular function, a 300% boost in immune response, reduced stress hormones, and increased endorphin production, often surpassing the effects of pharmaceutical antidepressants. Russian Banyas thrive on unique social principles, no personal space and no judgment based on body type, status, or background. Billionaires sit alongside factory workers and professors learn from peasants. Everyone is equal in the steam. Russian doctors frequently prescribe Banya visits for various ailments like respiratory and skin problems, muscle tension, circulation issues, and depression. Many Russians consider weekly Banya visits as crucial as diet and exercise, spending about $200 annually, a stark contrast to Americans' $2,000 gym memberships that often go unused. The social bonding in Banyas creates vital support networks. Business partnerships are solidified, political alliances form, and lifelong friendships are forged through these intimate healing rituals, built on a foundation of shared vulnerability and trust. Remarkably, Banya culture continues to thrive in modern Russia. Young Russians, from Moscow hipsters to tech entrepreneurs, enthusiastically embrace these traditions, demonstrating a seamless coexistence of ancient practices and contemporary life. Now here's something that will completely blow your mind. One of the most striking aspects of Russian culture, particularly in Moscow and St. Petersburg, is the incredible attention to fashion and personal presentation. Russian women are renowned worldwide for their beauty, but what truly impressed me was the sophisticated sense of style that permeates daily life. Walking through the city center, you'll notice that people dress up for ordinary activities. Going to the grocery store, meeting friends for coffee, or taking public transportation becomes an opportunity to showcase personal style. This isn't about showing off wealth. It's about taking pride in appearance and respecting social situations. The fashion industry here is thriving with both international brands and local designers creating unique pieces. Shopping centers like Gum on Red Square offer luxury experiences, but you'll also find incredible vintage shops and local boutiques throughout the city offering distinctive styles at various price points. What surprised me most was how this attention to appearance extends beyond clothing. Hair salons, nail studios, and beauty services are abundant and affordable. A professional haircut might cost $15, while similar services in Western cities could cost 5 to 10 times more. Russians seem to understand that looking good isn't just about vanity. It's about self-respect and social courtesy. Shopping in Russia offers everything from luxury boutiques to traditional markets with price ranges that accommodate various budgets. Major shopping centers like Evropsky or Afimol provide international brands alongside local retailers. These complexes include entertainment, dining, and services that make them social destinations rather than just shopping venues. Traditional markets offer authentic experiences where you can find everything from fresh produce to handcrafted items. Izmailovsky Market showcases traditional Russian crafts, Soviet memorabilia, and unique souvenirs that reflect the country's rich history. What amazed me was the quality-to-price ratio. Handcrafted items that would cost hundreds of dollars elsewhere are available for $20 to $50. The fashion scene particularly impressed me. Local designers create pieces that rival international brands but at fraction of the cost. A custom-tailored suit might cost $200. Designer dresses start at $50. The attention to quality and detail reflects the Russian appreciation for craftsmanship and style. Here's where things get really interesting and where most people's assumptions fall apart completely. Russia's economy operates differently than most Western countries, and the numbers tell a fascinating story. The average salary in Moscow is around $800. In St. Petersburg, it's a bit lower at about $570 per month. These figures might seem low by Western standards, but here's the crucial context most people miss. A decent apartment in Moscow starts at around $800. However, you can find older apartments further from the city center for $500. The key difference is the purchasing power and what you actually get for your money. A meal at a nice restaurant costs anywhere from $8 to $15. A week's worth of groceries might cost $30. Adaptation, as I mentioned, is incredibly affordable. Even entertainment like theater tickets or museum admissions rarely exceed $10. When you factor in these costs, the quality of life equation becomes much more complex than simple salary comparisons. Russia's business landscape offers opportunities and challenges that differ significantly from Western markets. Starting a business requires navigating bureaucratic processes, but the potential rewards are substantial. Labor costs are lower than Western countries, while the educated workforce provides excellent human capital. The domestic market of 145 million people provides substantial opportunities for businesses that understand local preferences and cultural nuances. E-commerce is growing rapidly, with platforms like Wildberries and Ozon competing effectively with international giants. What surprised me was the entrepreneurial spirit among younger Russians who see opportunities to build businesses that serve both domestic and international markets. Russian culture operates on layers that take time to understand and appreciate. The stereotype of cold, unfriendly people couldn't be further from reality. Once you break through initial formalities, Russians value deep, meaningful relationships over casual acquaintances. This means initial interactions might seem reserved, but once you're accepted into someone's circle, the warmth and loyalty are extraordinary. The intellectual culture here is remarkable. Literature, music, and arts aren't just entertainment. They're integral parts of daily conversation. People quote Tolstoy or Dostoevsky naturally in discussions. Classical music performances are packed with audiences of all ages, not just older generations. Education is highly valued, with literacy rates reaching 99%. The respect for knowledge and learning permeates society in ways that surprised me. Even casual conversations often touch on philosophy, history, or current events with a depth that's refreshing. Russian social interactions follow patterns that differ from Western norms but create deep, meaningful relationships once understood. Building genuine friendships takes time and effort, but once established, these relationships involve mutual support, loyalty, and emotional investment that can last lifetimes. Family connections remain strong across generations. Multi-generational households are common not from economic necessity but from cultural preference. Social etiquette emphasizes respect, particularly for older generations and authority figures. There's a formality to interactions that might seem cold at first but actually represents consideration and respect for others. Perhaps the most shocking discovery about Russia is how forward-thinking and optimistic many people remain despite international challenges and media portrayals that focus primarily on political tensions. Young Russians embrace global culture while maintaining pride in their heritage. Innovation continues across multiple sectors. Space technology, nuclear energy, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology research proceed at high levels. Urban development projects transform cities with modern infrastructure, green spaces, and cultural facilities. Moscow's renovation programs have created pedestrian zones, improved public transportation, and enhanced quality of life for residents. The entrepreneurial spirit thrives among younger generations who see opportunities to build businesses that serve both domestic and international markets. Technology startups emerge regularly, creative industries flourish. And cultural exchanges continue despite political tensions, demonstrating the resilience of human connections beyond governmental policies. Walking through Moscow feels like traveling through different centuries simultaneously. Red Square isn't just a tourist destination. It's a living piece of history where every building tells an incredible story. St. Basil's Cathedral, with its colorful onion domes, looks like something from a fairy tale. The legend says Ivan the Terrible ordered the architect's eyes removed after completion so he could never create anything more beautiful. Whether that's true or not, standing before those 9 chapels with their unique designs, you understand why such stories exist. The Kremlin walls stretch for over 2 kilometers, containing palaces, cathedrals, and government buildings within a fortress that has stood for centuries. The contrast between these ancient structures and Moscow's modern skyscrapers creates a skyline unlike anywhere else on Earth. But it's not just the famous landmarks. Even ordinary residential buildings showcase architectural details that would be considered luxury elsewhere. Ornate balconies, detailed facades, and grand entrances are standard throughout the city center. Every corner reveals another architectural masterpiece that would be the centerpiece of any other city's tourism campaign. Russian cultural institutions operate at a level that puts most world capitals to shame. The Bolshoi Theater isn't just a tourist attraction. It's a living institution where world-class performances happen regularly for audiences that include both visitors and locals. Ticket prices for cultural events are surprisingly accessible. Bolshoi performances range from $10 to $80. The Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg houses over 3 million items and would take years to see completely. The collection spans from ancient artifacts to modern masterpieces, and the Winter Palace setting adds architectural grandeur to the artistic treasures. Street art and contemporary culture thrive alongside classical traditions. Modern galleries, independent theaters, and music venues create a vibrant scene that appeals to younger generations while respecting cultural heritage. What amazed me was how integrated arts are into daily life. Classical concerts aren't stuffy affairs for elderly elites. Young people attend regularly and genuinely engage with the performances. Poetry readings draw packed audiences. Literature discussions happen in cafes and parks. This isn't cultural posturing, it's genuine appreciation for intellectual and artistic achievement. Russian entertainment culture combines traditional elements with modern trends, creating unique experiences that cater to diverse interests. Moscow's nightlife rivals any major international city. Clubs, bars, and restaurants stay open late and offer everything from electronic music to traditional folk performances. Cover charges typically range from $5 to $20. Cultural entertainment is abundant and affordable. Concert halls host everything from classical symphonies to contemporary bands. Theater performances, both traditional and experimental, provide intellectual and emotional experiences that engage audiences deeply. But what really shocked me was the sophistication of the entertainment scene. This isn't just about drinking and partying. Russians approach entertainment as cultural enrichment. A night out might include dinner at a restaurant featuring live classical music, followed by a contemporary art exhibition opening, then drinks at a literary cafe where local poets perform. Russian cuisine extends far beyond the stereotypical borscht and vodka, though both are excellent when prepared properly. The food scene, especially in Moscow and St. Petersburg, has evolved dramatically and offers incredible diversity. Traditional dishes like beef stroganoff, pelmeni dumplings, and bliny pancakes represent comfort food at its finest. But the modern restaurant scene incorporates influences from across the former Soviet republics, creating fusion cuisines that are uniquely Russian. Georgian cuisine is particularly popular with khachapuri cheese bread and kankali soup dumplings available throughout major cities. Central Asian influences bring plov rice dishes and various grilled meats that add spice and flavor variety. The market culture is vibrant with fresh produce, artisanal products, and specialty items available at reasonable prices. Food quality is generally high, with many products sourced locally or regionally rather than imported from distant countries. What shocked me was how affordable great food can be. A fantastic meal at a local restaurant might cost $8, while the same quality would cost $40 in New York or London. Russia's educational system produces some of the world's most capable minds, and experiencing this firsthand was truly eye-opening. Moscow State University, founded in 1755, ranks among the world's top institutions and attracts students globally. The cost of education here is remarkably affordable compared to Western standards. International students can pursue degrees for $3,000 to $12,000 annually, while accommodation costs range from $1,000 to $3,000 per year. Living expenses add another $500 to $1,000 monthly, making quality education accessible to students from various economic backgrounds. Compare this to American universities, where tuition alone can exceed $500,000 annually. The academic rigor is intense but rewarding. Russian universities emphasize deep theoretical understanding combined with practical application. Students in technical fields often graduate with skills that immediately translate to professional success. The respect for education extends beyond formal institutions. Libraries are well-funded and heavily used. Cultural institutions like museums and theaters offer educational programs that engage people of all ages in lifelong learning. Russia's healthcare system combines universal coverage with private options, creating a structure that ensures basic care while allowing enhanced services for those who choose them. Medical tourism is growing as international patients discover high-quality care at affordable prices. Complex procedures that might cost tens of thousands of dollars elsewhere are available for fractions of those amounts. A dental implant might cost $300 compared to $3,000 in the United States. Cosmetic surgery procedures cost 70% less than Western countries while maintaining high-quality standards. The medical education system produces highly qualified doctors who often speak multiple languages and understand international medical standards. Many Russian doctors have trained or practiced abroad, bringing global perspectives to local healthcare delivery. Russia's transportation infrastructure spans incredible distances and connects remote regions in ways that seem almost impossible given the geographic challenges. The Trans-Siberian Railway represents one of humanity's greatest engineering achievements. This 9,000-kilometer journey takes you across 11 time zones and through landscapes that change dramatically from European Russia through Siberian wilderness to the Pacific coast. A complete journey takes about 7 days and costs between $500 to $2,000 depending on accommodation class. Imagine crossing an entire continent for less than most people spend on a weekend vacation. Domestic flights connect major cities efficiently and affordably. A flight from Moscow to St. Petersburg takes about 1 hour and costs between $50 to $150. Even flights to distant cities like Vladivostok or Yekaterinburg are reasonably priced compared to similar distances in other countries. The highway system, while still developing in remote areas, connects major population centers effectively. This might surprise many people, but Russia's technology adoption and digital infrastructure are remarkably advanced. The Yandex ecosystem provides everything from maps and taxi services to food delivery and online shopping with efficiency that rivals any global platform. Mobile payment systems are widely adopted. Most transactions happen digitally and even small vendors accept electronic payments. The internet infrastructure supports high-speed connections throughout major cities, enabling a digital lifestyle that's seamless and convenient. The contrast between traditional architecture and cutting-edge technology creates a unique atmosphere. You might use a smartphone app to navigate the historic metro system or order food delivery to a centuries-old building. This blend of old and new defines modern Russian urban life. Russia's vast territory contains regions so diverse they feel like separate countries. Tatarstan, with its capital Kazan, represents a fascinating blend of Russian and Turkic cultures. The city features both Orthodox churches and Islamic mosques, often within sight of each other. The local cuisine combines Russian and Central Asian influences, creating dishes you won't find anywhere else. Sochi on the Black Sea coast offers a subtropical climate and resort atmosphere that contrasts dramatically with Siberian regions. The infrastructure developed for the Winter Olympics transformed this area into a year-round destination for both domestic and international visitors. The Far East regions like Vladivostok feel more connected to Asia than Europe. The architecture, food, and cultural influences reflect proximity to China, Japan, and Korea. Then there's the Republic of Karelia, situated near Finland, where 85% of the region is covered by forests. The timber industry drives the local economy, and the architecture resembles Finnish designs with colorful wooden buildings. During summer, many Russians travel here for vacation, drawn by the pristine nature and peaceful atmosphere. Russia's natural landscapes are absolutely breathtaking and incredibly diverse. From the Arctic tundra to the Black Sea coast, this country contains virtually every type of environment imaginable. Lake Baikal in Siberia holds 22% of the world's fresh water and is so clear you can see 40 meters down. The lake is deeper than most mountains are tall and contains unique species found nowhere else on Earth. Standing on its shores in winter, when the surface freezes into crystal-clear ice formations, is an experience that defies description. The Golden Ring cities northeast of Moscow showcase traditional Russian architecture surrounded by pristine forests and rivers. These ancient towns preserve medieval charm while offering glimpses into Russia's spiritual and cultural heritage. Even within Moscow, green spaces are abundant and well-maintained. Gorky Park spans over 120 hectares and provides a peaceful escape from urban energy. The attention to landscaping and public spaces shows a commitment to quality of life that often goes unnoticed by outsiders. Living in Russia means adapting to climate conditions that would challenge most people, yet Russians have mastered this adaptation in remarkable ways. Winter temperatures in Moscow average around -10 degrees Celsius, but the city functions normally throughout the coldest months. Buildings are designed with excellent insulation and heating systems that maintain comfortable indoor temperatures regardless of outdoor conditions. Summer brings a complete transformation. The same city that endures harsh winters becomes a green, vibrant place where people enjoy outdoor activities, festivals, and extended daylight hours. What impressed me was how Russians embrace rather than merely endure winter. Fishing becomes a social activity. Winter sports are widely practiced. The famous Russian Banya or sauna culture thrives during cold months, providing both physical and social warmth. People don't hibernate during winter. They adapt and continue living fully. What surprised you most about these discoveries? Russia completely shattered every preconception I had about this incredible country. From the underground palaces of Moscow's metro system that cost 50 cents to ride, up to the sophisticated fashion scene where Russian women showcase beauty and style that captivates the world, to the educational institutions that produce brilliant minds at affordable costs that would shock any American student. If you found this journey through real Russia as fascinating as I did, make sure you subscribe for more authentic travel content that goes beyond surface-level tourism to explore the real cultures, people, and places that make our world endlessly fascinating. Hit the notification bell so you never miss new adventures. Share your thoughts about these discoveries in the comments below. Have you visited Russia, or do these revelations change your perspective about this incredible country? What if I told you that Poland was completely erased from world maps for over a century, that it's home to the world's largest castle, or that a Polish woman discovered elements that changed science forever? Today, I'm sharing 40 absolutely mind-blowing facts about Poland. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be booking a flight to Warsaw. Let's start with the border. Poland shares borders with 7 different countries: Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, and Russia's Kaliningrad region. This strategic position has made Poland a crossroads of European culture, trade, and, unfortunately, conflict throughout history. Here's something that sounds impossible but actually happened. Poland, an entire country, vanished from world maps for 123 years. Between 1795 and 1918, Poland simply didn't exist as an independent nation. It was carved up and divided between Russia, Prussia, and Austria in what became known as the Partitions of Poland. When Poland finally regained independence in 1918, it was like a phoenix rising from the ashes. When most people think of massive castles, they picture England or Germany. But the largest castle in the world by land area isn't in those countries at all. It's the castle of the Teutonic Order in Malbork, Poland, and it's absolutely massive, covering over 143,000 square meters. To put that in perspective, that's roughly 20 football fields of pure medieval fortress. Built in the 13th century by the Teutonic Knights, this isn't just big, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that makes other European castles look like dollhouses. Poland produced one of the most influential religious leaders in modern history. Born Karol Józef Wojtyła in Wadowice in 1920, Pope John Paul II became the first non-Italian pope in over 400 years when he was elected in 1978. But his impact went far beyond the Catholic Church. Pope John Paul II played a pivotal role in the fall of communism throughout Eastern Europe, especially in his homeland of Poland. His moral authority and unwavering advocacy for human rights helped inspire the Solidarity movement that would eventually bring down the Iron Curtain. After his death, he was canonized as a saint in 2014, cementing his legacy as one of the most important figures of the 20th century. Poland didn't just produce great scientists, it produced one of the greatest scientists in human history. Marie Curie, born Maria Sklodowska in Warsaw, became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and the only person ever to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. She discovered 2 new elements, radium and polonium, and she named polonium specifically to honor her beloved homeland of Poland. Poland is widely recognized as home to some of the most beautiful women in Europe, and this isn't just opinion, it's backed by genetics and cultural factors. Polish women are often admired for their striking features, fair complexions, piercing blue or green eyes, and well-defined facial structures that seem to come straight out of fairy tales. But their beauty goes far beyond physical appearance. Polish women are known for their intelligence, elegance, and that perfect balance of traditional values and modern independence. They're educated, ambitious, and possess a natural grace that comes from centuries of Polish culture emphasizing both inner and outer beauty. Do you want to know how to connect or make friends with Polish women on social media or dating apps? If so, leave a comment number 6, and we'll share some interesting tips just for you. Poland gave the world one of the most revolutionary ideas in human history. Nicolaus Copernicus, born in Torun in 1473, completely changed how humanity sees its place in the universe. Before Copernicus, everyone believed that Earth was the center of the universe and everything revolved around us. Copernicus proved that we actually revolve around the sun, not the other way around. This might seem obvious now, but back then, this idea was so radical it literally changed everything we thought we knew about reality. We touched on this earlier, but the full story of Poland's disappearance and resurrection is even more incredible than you might imagine. For 123 years, from 1795 to 1918, Poland literally did not exist on any world map. The country was completely partitioned between Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Despite having no government, no official borders, and no political independence, Polish culture, language, and identity never died. Families secretly taught their children Polish, preserved their traditions, and kept the dream of independence alive through generations. During World War II, the city was almost completely destroyed by Nazi bombing. We're talking about 85% of the city reduced to rubble, with countless historical buildings, homes, and landmarks completely obliterated. But the Polish people rebuilt their city from scratch using detailed paintings by 18th century artist Bernardo Bellato. They painstakingly reconstructed their old town so perfectly that it's now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Today, when you walk through Warsaw's old town, you're seeing buildings that look exactly like they did in the 14th century, but they were actually rebuilt in the 1950s. It's a testament to Polish determination that's absolutely breathtaking. This incredible resilience is why Warsaw earned the nickname Phoenix City, because like the mythical bird, it literally rose from the ashes to become more beautiful than ever before. If this video made you say wait, even once, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It helps us bring you more jaw-dropping content. Long before oil became the foundation of the global economy, a Polish pharmacist named Ignacy Łukasiewicz was changing the world. In 1856, he built the world's very first oil refinery, pioneering an industry that would eventually power the modern world. This wasn't just a random invention, this was a breakthrough that revolutionized how humanity would light its homes, power its vehicles, and fuel its industries. The first bulletproof vest was invented by Polish inventor Jan Szczepanik in 1901. This wasn't just a simple protective garment, it was a revolutionary piece of technology that would go on to save countless lives in military and law enforcement applications. Szczepanik was known as the Polish Edison for his numerous inventions, but the bulletproof vest might be his most important contribution to human safety. The fact that this life-saving technology was pioneered in Poland shows how Polish innovation has been quietly protecting people around the world for over a century. You think you know about wildlife? Well, Poland is literally a stork paradise. Nearly 25% of all white storks in the entire world choose to nest in Poland during summer. The village of Siedlce has earned the title of European Stork Capital, hosting about 40 stork pairs every season. But here's the really fascinating part. In Polish culture, storks are considered incredibly lucky. They're believed to bring babies, prosperity, and good fortune to any household they choose to nest in. If you think English is complicated, wait until you hear about Polish. Polish is considered one of the most challenging languages for English speakers to learn, and for good reason. It has 7 different cases for nouns, complex pronunciation with consonant clusters that look impossible to pronounce, and grammar rules that would make your head spin. Take the word sesi, which means happiness. Go ahead, try to pronounce that. The Polish alphabet has 32 letters, including 9 that don't even exist in English. In the heart of Wrocław, you'll find over 350 tiny gnome sculptures scattered throughout the city. These aren't just random decorations, they're part of an incredible treasure hunt that has become a beloved tradition for both tourists and locals. Each gnome has its own personality, its own story, and its own special location. Some are hidden in corners, others are prominently displayed, and finding them all has become a challenge that brings out the childlike wonder in everyone who visits. Every year, Polish people celebrate Tłusty Czwartek, or Fat Thursday, in a way that would make donut lovers everywhere jealous. On this day, millions of Poles indulge in eating paczki, traditional Polish donuts that are far superior to anything you'll find at your local donut shop. These aren't ordinary donuts. Paczki are deep-fried pieces of heaven, traditionally filled with rose jam, custard, or other delicious fillings, and dusted with powdered sugar or glazed. On Fat Thursday, Polish bakeries work overtime to meet the incredible demand, and it's estimated that over 100 million paczki are consumed across Poland in a single day. You've probably seen pictures of Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro, but Poland actually has the world's tallest statue of Jesus Christ. The Christ the King statue in Świebodzin stands at an incredible 118 feet tall when you include the crown, making it taller than the famous Brazilian statue. This massive monument isn't just impressive for its size, it's a symbol of Poland's deep Catholic faith. With over 92% of the population identifying as Roman Catholic, Poland has one of the highest percentages of Catholics in the world. This statue represents the spiritual heart of a nation that has maintained its faith through centuries of hardship and oppression. Imagine eating at a restaurant that has been serving customers since 1275. That's exactly what you can do at Pumienka Świdnika in Wrocław, one of the oldest restaurants in all of Europe. This incredible establishment has been operating for over 700 years, serving meals in the medieval cellars beneath Wrocław's old town hall. This restaurant was already ancient when Christopher Columbus discovered America. It was serving food when Leonardo da Vinci was painting the Mona Lisa. The walls of this place have witnessed more history than most museums, and you can still sit down and have a meal there today. Deep beneath the city of Krakow lies one of the most spectacular underground worlds you'll ever see. The Wiedź salt mine has been operating since the 13th century, but it's not just a mine, it's an underground masterpiece. Miners carved entire chapels, chambers, and even sculptures out of pure salt, creating what's essentially an underground cathedral. When you descend 135 meters below the surface, you enter a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers that look like something from a fantasy movie. There are salt chandeliers, salt altars, and even salt statues of famous historical figures. This UNESCO World Heritage Site proves that Polish creativity and craftsmanship know no bounds, even hundreds of feet underground. When you think of video game development, you might think of Japan or the United States. But Poland has quietly become one of the world's most important gaming hubs. CD Projekt, the company behind the Witcher series and Cyberpunk 2077, is based in Warsaw and has become one of the most valuable gaming companies in Europe. The Witcher series alone has sold over 50 million copies worldwide, and it's all based on Polish literature by Andrzej Sapkowski. Poland isn't just creating games, it's creating entire fantasy worlds that captivate millions of players around the globe. In the small village of Nowa Żarnowo, there's something that looks like it belongs in a Tim Burton movie, The Crooked Forest. This mysterious grove contains about 400 pine trees that all grow with a bizarre 90-degree bend at the base of their trunks, creating an otherworldly landscape that seems to defy natural law. What makes this even more mysterious is that nobody knows exactly why these trees grow this way. They were planted in the 1930s, and theories range from human manipulation to gravitational anomalies to snow damage. When you think of European landscapes, deserts probably don't come to mind. But Poland is home to the Błoto Desert, Central Europe's largest accumulation of loose sand, spanning over 12 square miles. This isn't some tiny patch of sand, this is a real desert with rolling dunes and an almost otherworldly landscape. It's the result of medieval mining activities and environmental changes that created this unique ecosystem right in the middle of temperate Europe. Today, it's used as a filming location for movies that need desert scenes, proving that Poland can literally provide any landscape you can imagine. You might think of apples as being typically American, but Poland is actually the world's largest exporter of apples, contributing almost 25% of global apple exports. Polish apples aren't just abundant, they're considered some of the highest quality in the world, reaching markets from China to the United States. Polish orchards stretch across the countryside like something from a fairy tale, and during harvest season, the entire country smells like fresh apples. Deep in eastern Poland lies something that most of Europe lost centuries ago, a primeval forest that has remained virtually unchanged for thousands of years. The Białowieża forest is Europe's last remaining fragment of the immense primeval forest that once covered the entire continent. This isn't just any forest, it's home to the European bison, the continent's largest land mammal, which was brought back from the brink of elimination through Polish conservation efforts. In Poland, people celebrate name days almost like birthdays. Each day of the year is associated with specific names, and when your name day arrives, you receive gifts, flowers, and special attention from family and friends. This tradition means that Polish people essentially get two special days every year, their birthday and their name day. It's a beautiful way of celebrating identity and heritage, and it creates dozens of additional opportunities for families and friends to come together throughout the year. And for a country that many people know little about, Poland has an incredible 17 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These include the historic centers of Warsaw and Krakow, the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp, the Wieliczka salt mine, and the ancient Białowieża forest we just mentioned. To put this in perspective, Poland has more UNESCO sites than countries like Sweden, Norway, or Denmark. Poland was centuries ahead of its time when it came to democratic principles. The Polish Constitution of May 3, 1791, was the first written constitution in Europe, and only the second in world history, following the United States Constitution by just 4 years. This groundbreaking document established principles of democracy, religious tolerance, and individual rights that were revolutionary for their time. Unfortunately, Poland's neighbors didn't appreciate these progressive ideas and used them as justification for the partitions that would erase Poland from the map. The debate between Russia and Poland over who invented vodka continues to this day, but many compelling historical records suggest vodka originated in Poland as early as the 8th century. Polish vodka, traditionally distilled from grains or potatoes, is renowned worldwide for its exceptional purity and smoothness. Polish vodka makers have perfected their craft over more than 500 years, and today Polish vodka brands are considered among the finest in the world. When Polish people toast with na zdrowie, meaning to your health, they're continuing a tradition that spans centuries of master distilling. If you love castles, Poland is basically paradise on earth. The country boasts over 500 castles and 2,500 manor houses scattered across its landscape. From medieval fortresses perched on hilltops to Renaissance palaces surrounded by gardens, Poland looks like it was designed by someone who wanted to create the perfect fairy tale kingdom. Many of these castles have been beautifully restored and are open to visitors, offering a chance to step back in time and experience the grandeur of Poland's noble past. Pierogi, Poland's beloved stuffed dumplings, are so treasured that they have their own national holiday on October 8th. These aren't just dumplings, they're cultural icons that represent the heart of Polish comfort food. From classic potato and cheese fillings to sweet versions with berries, pierogi showcase the diversity and creativity of Polish cuisine. What makes pierogi special isn't just their taste, it's the tradition of families gathering together to make them. Polish grandmothers pass down their secret recipes through generations, and the process of making pierogi becomes a way of preserving family bonds and cultural heritage. Mushroom picking in Poland isn't just a hobby, it's a deeply rooted cultural tradition that combines outdoor adventure with culinary expertise. Polish forests are abundant with edible mushrooms, and families pass down the knowledge of safe foraging from generation to generation. Children learn from a young age how to identify safe mushrooms from poisonous ones, turning forest expeditions into educational adventures. The mushrooms gathered during these trips become key ingredients in traditional Polish dishes like mushroom soup and bigos, creating a direct connection between the natural world and Polish cuisine. Polish people marry on average at ages 25 to 27, making them the youngest newlyweds in the entire European Union. Polish weddings are legendary celebrations that can last for days, featuring traditional music, dancing, and customs that have been passed down for generations. If you're ever invited to a Polish wedding, prepare for an unforgettable experience filled with joy, tradition, and incredible hospitality. The Polish currency, the zloty, literally means golden in Polish. This name reflects the historical value and prestige of Polish currency, even though modern zloty coins and bills aren't made of actual gold. The name serves as a reminder of Poland's prosperous past and its ongoing economic strength. Today, the zloty is one of the more stable currencies in Central Europe, reflecting Poland's successful transition to a market economy and its strong position within the European Union. Warsaw's iconic palace of culture and science isn't just filled with offices and theaters, it's also home to some very special residents, bees. On the rooftop of this massive building, beehives have been established as part of urban beekeeping initiatives that promote biodiversity in the city. These urban bees help pollinate the surrounding green areas and produce honey right in the heart of Poland's capital. But that's not all. The building also houses feral cats that help control the rodent population, making this skyscraper a unique ecosystem in the middle of a bustling city. In the village of Szymbark stands one of the world's most unique architectural statements, the first upside-down house ever built. This isn't just a tourist attraction, it's a powerful symbol of the disorientation and chaos that Polish people felt during communist rule in the 1970s. The house is completely inverted, with its roof on the ground and foundation pointing toward the sky. Walking through its topsy-turvy interior gives visitors a physical sensation of how life felt when everything familiar was turned upside down. Since opening in 2007, this house has become a profound reminder of Poland's journey from oppression to freedom. In Polish culture, bread holds an almost sacred status that goes far beyond simple nutrition. There's a beautiful tradition that if bread falls to the ground, you must pick it up and kiss it as a sign of respect. This custom reflects the deep appreciation Polish people have for food, born from centuries of hardship and the understanding that nothing should be wasted. Poland experiences 4 dramatically different seasons that showcase the country's natural beauty in constantly changing ways. Winters can be harsh and snowy, especially in the mountains and northern regions, creating a winter wonderland perfect for skiing and winter sports. Spring brings an explosion of color as parks and forests burst into bloom, while summers are warm and vibrant with long daylight hours and countless outdoor festivals. Autumn transforms the landscape into a painter's palette of gold, red, and orange. Frédéric Chopin, one of the world's greatest composers, was born in Poland and his connection to his homeland influenced his music throughout his life. Even though he spent much of his career in Paris, Chopin's compositions are deeply rooted in Polish folk music, dance rhythms, and national spirit. His mazurkas and polonaises aren't just beautiful pieces of music, they're musical expressions of Polish identity and culture. Today, Poland honors Chopin with numerous festivals, competitions, and monuments, including benches throughout Warsaw that play his music at the touch of a button. The Jagiellonian University in Krakow, founded in 1364, is one of the oldest universities in the world and the second oldest in Central Europe. Nicolaus Copernicus studied here before revolutionizing astronomy. Pope John Paul II taught philosophy here before becoming pope. The university's library contains one of the largest collections of medieval manuscripts in Poland, including Copernicus' own writings. For over 650 years, this university has been shaping brilliant minds and advancing human knowledge. The solidarity movement that emerged in Poland during the 1980s didn't just change Poland, it helped bring down the entire Soviet system and ended the Cold War. Led by electrician-turned-activist Lech Walesa, Solidarity became the first independent labor union in a Soviet bloc country. What started as a shipyard workers' strike in Gdansk grew into a nationwide movement of 10 million members, representing 1/3 of Poland's working population. Poland's geographic position in the heart of Europe makes it a unique meeting point between Eastern and Western cultures, traditions, and influences. Bordered by 7 countries including Germany, Russia, and Ukraine, Poland has absorbed and blended influences from across the continent while maintaining its distinct identity. This cultural crossroads position has made Poland incredibly diverse and cosmopolitan. You can see Gothic cathedrals next to Orthodox churches, taste cuisine influenced by German, Russian, and Lithuanian traditions, and experience architecture that spans centuries of different cultural influences. There you have it, 40 absolutely incredible facts about Poland that prove this country is one of Europe's most fascinating and underrated destinations. If you're planning your next adventure, consider Poland. Whether you're interested in history, nature, culture, food, or simply meeting some of the warmest and most hospitable people in Europe, Poland delivers experiences that will exceed every expectation. What surprised you most about Poland? Have you visited this incredible country? Or are you now planning your first trip? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video if you learned something new about this amazing nation. And don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on notifications bell so we can see you again in our next video. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Your support truly means the world. wishing you the best of luck. What if I told you there's a country in Europe where people want to both live and dream? They literally burn money to stay warm. Where 60% of adults are overweight, yet they live longer than Americans, and where the government pays you to take vacations. You might think I'm describing some fictional place, but I'm talking about Austria. A country that will completely shatter every assumption you have about European life. Vienna has achieved something unprecedented in urban planning. It was named the world's most livable city by both Mercer and the Economist Intelligence Unit, a record 11 times, most recently in 2024. The city consistently outperforms major global cities. The metrics supporting this ranking are genuinely impressive. Political stability, exceptional public health care, world-class education, extremely low crime rates, and public transportation so reliable you can set your watch by it. Vienna even provides free public services that most cities charge for, like solar-powered drinking water stations and public weight scales. There was actually a time when Austrians literally burned their money to stay warm. After World War I, Austria was forced to pay massive war reparations totaling 132 billion gold marks, equivalent to over $500 billion in today's money, according to the Austrian National Bank. The government's solution was to print endless amounts of money, which led to hyperinflation so severe that Austrian currency became essentially worthless. During the brutal winter of 1922 to 1923, heating fuel was so expensive that families discovered it was actually cheaper to burn banknotes than to buy firewood. This traumatic experience shaped Austrian attitudes toward money and government spending that persist today. It's why modern Austria has some of the most conservative fiscal policies in Europe, yet paradoxically, they've created one of the world's most generous social welfare systems. The government learned that financial stability isn't just about having money, it's about ensuring that money retains its value and meaning. If you lived in Austria back then, would you have burned your money to stay warm? Let us know in the comments. In most Western countries, homeownership is seen as the ultimate sign of financial success and stability. But Austria completely flips this concept on its head. According to the latest Austrian statistics data from 2024, over 45% of Austrians rent their homes, and in major cities like Vienna, this number jumps to an astounding 80%. With an average annual income of $59,000 according to Forbes' 2024 ranking of richest countries, Austrians have plenty of purchasing power. The real reason is far more sophisticated. The government strictly controls rent increases, provides extensive social housing programs called Gemeindebauten, and laws heavily favor renters over landlords. Leases can be renewed indefinitely, and landlords cannot terminate them without serious legal justification. The result is incredible housing stability. According to the Austrian Federal Ministry for Climate Action, many Austrian families live in the same rented apartment for 30 to 40 years, and even pass their lease agreements to their children. They get all the benefits of housing stability without the financial risks and maintenance responsibilities of homeownership. Friend, during this 5-second pause, please support us by liking the video, subscribing to our channel, and turning on notifications. Thank you. Best of followers. According to the latest World Health Organization data from 2024, Austria has the highest obesity rate in the entire European Union, with nearly 60% of adults being overweight or obese. That means 3 out of every 5 Austrian adults have weight issues. Despite this alarming statistic, Austrians live an average of 82.1 years, significantly longer than Americans at 78.9 years, according to the OECD Health Statistics 2024. How is this even possible? While Austrians indulge in rich foods like Sachertorte and Wiener Schnitzel, they have completely free universal health care with no medical bills whatsoever. Austria was also the first country in Europe to implement nationwide eco-friendly hospitals that use renewable energy and focus on preventive care rather than just treating illness. Plus, their cities are designed for active living. Vienna alone has over 50% of its area designated as parks and urban forests, encouraging daily movement. The combination of stress-free healthcare access, clean air quality, and built-in physical activity in daily life apparently trumps the negative effects of their love for rich foods. While most countries barely guarantee vacation time, Austria takes it to an entirely different level. Austrian workers receive something called Urlaubsgeld, which is literally vacation money from the government, equivalent to 30 to 15% of their monthly salary. According to the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber, this isn't a loan or benefit you have to pay back. It's essentially free money specifically designated for you to enjoy your time off. A typical Austrian worker earning 3,000 euros per month receives an additional 400 to 450 euros just for taking vacation. But it gets even better. Austrian workers are entitled to a minimum of 25 paid vacation days per year, compared to 0 guaranteed paid vacation days in the United States. Many Austrian companies provide even more, with the average being 28 to 30 days, according to Eurostat 2024 employment data. The government believes that well-rested, stress-free citizens are more productive and contribute more to society. And the statistics prove them right. Austria consistently ranks in the top 10 for worker productivity in Europe, despite giving workers significantly more time off than most other countries. In your opinion, what's the ideal number of vacation days in a year? Comment your number below. Vienna isn't just called the music capital of the world for show. According to the Vienna State Opera's official statistics, the city hosts over 15,000 concerts per year. That's more than 40 concerts every single day. But here's what's truly unbelievable. You can attend a world-class opera performance at the famous Vienna State Opera for as little as 4 euros. That's cheaper than a cappuccino in central Vienna, which costs around 5 euros. These standing room tickets, called Stehplätze, give you access to the same performances that VIPs pay hundreds of euros to attend. According to the Austrian Federal Ministry for Arts, Culture, the Civil Service, and Sport, this pricing structure is intentionally designed to make high culture accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy elite. Young Austrians regularly attend opera, ballet, and classical concerts as casually as people in other countries go to movies. The result? Austria has one of the highest rates of musical literacy in the world, with most Austrian adults able to play at least one instrument according to European Cultural Statistics 2024. Austria has one of the highest rates of single women in Europe, particularly among educated professionals aged 25 to 40, yet it also has one of the highest rates of international marriages. According to Eurostat's 2024 demographic report, Austrian women are marrying later than almost any other nationality in Europe, with the average marriage age now at 31.2 years. But when they do marry, 34% choose partners from other countries, one of the highest cross-cultural marriage rates in the world. Austrian women have developed a reputation for being reserved and difficult to approach, which many visitors interpret as coldness. But it's a cultural approach to relationships that prioritizes authenticity over superficial charm. Austrian women spend an average of 3.2 years getting to know someone before considering marriage, compared to 1.8 years for American women, according to relationship research by the Austrian Institute of Demography. They're not looking for quick connections or flashy romance. They want deep compatibility and genuine partnership. Marriage rates between Austrian women and men from the Balkans, Turkey, the United States, and even Japan have increased by 45% over the past decade. The economic independence of Austrian women plays a huge role in this trend. With 68% of Austrian women working full-time and earning competitive salaries, they don't need marriage for financial security. They choose relationships based on emotional and intellectual compatibility rather than economic necessity. Austria is home to Red Bull, the world's most famous energy drink company, founded by Austrian entrepreneur Dietrich Mateschitz in 1987. According to Red Bull's annual report, the company sold over 12 billion cans worldwide in 2024 and sponsors everything from Formula One racing to extreme sports. Yet Austria maintains some of Europe's strictest regulations on energy drink consumption. According to the Austrian Agency for Health and Food Safety, Energy drinks cannot be sold to minors under 16, must carry prominent health warnings, and are banned from school vending machines throughout the country. The Austrian government also funds extensive research into energy drink health effects through the Austrian Science Fund. Their 2024 studies show that while moderate consumption isn't harmful for adults, the Austrian approach prioritizes long-term public health over short-term commercial interests. They'll create global brands and profit from international markets, but they'll carefully regulate those same products within their own borders to protect their citizens' well-being. Every July and September, the small Austrian town of Klagenfurt and Wörthersee becomes one of the most visually spectacular places on Earth. The World Body Painting Festival attracts over 300 artists from 50 countries and draws 30,000 to 40,000 visitors annually, according to the festival's official attendance records. What makes this event extraordinary isn't just the artistic quality, but how a conservative alpine town embraces something so unconventional. According to the Klagenfurt Tourism Board, local businesses report their highest revenue of the year during the festival, and hotels are booked solid months in advance. The 2024 festival theme, The Power of Symbols, A Cultural Journey, produced artwork that defied belief. Artists created glowing dragons that moved with dancers' bodies, 3D world maps that lit up under UV lights, and optical illusions that seemed to reshape human anatomy. The festival also runs a 5-day creative academy where visitors can learn professional body painting techniques. Despite their reputation for formality and tradition, Austrians enthusiastically support artistic expression that pushes boundaries. The festival proves that beneath Austria's conservative surface lies a deep appreciation for creativity and human artistic potential. Vienna alone has over 50 dedicated classical music venues, from the world-famous Vienna State Opera to intimate chamber music halls. According to the Austrian Federal Ministry for Arts and Culture, Austria has approximately one classical music venue for every 1,800 residents, the highest ratio in the world. But the truly remarkable fact isn't the quantity, it's how these venues remain financially viable. The Austrian government provides substantial subsidies, ensuring ticket prices remain accessible to ordinary citizens, not just wealthy tourists. According to the Vienna Philharmonic's annual report, 60% of their audience consists of Austrian residents, not international visitors. This creates a unique cultural ecosystem where world-class musicians perform for knowledgeable local audiences who understand and appreciate musical nuance. Young Austrian musicians grow up hearing the Vienna Philharmonic regularly, creating incredibly high standards for musical education and performance. The economic impact is substantial too. According to Tourism Austria's 2024 data, music tourism generates over 2 billion euros annually, with visitors specifically traveling to Austria for musical experiences they cannot find anywhere else in the world. Austria's entire public transportation system operates largely on trust. According to Wiener Linien, Vienna's public transport operator, there are no turnstiles or barriers at most metro stations. Passengers buy tickets and validate them without any physical oversight. The system seems designed for abuse, yet it works remarkably well. According to Austrian Federal Railways data from 2024, fare evasion rates remain below 3%. Far lower than cities with extensive barrier systems. Random inspections by plainclothed controllers, combined with hefty fines for violations, maintain compliance without creating an atmosphere of suspicion. This honor system reflects deeper Austrian social values about civic responsibility and collective trust. According to a Vienna University of Technology study, the psychological effect of being trusted encourages honest behavior, creating a positive cycle that reinforces social cooperation. The practical benefits are enormous: reduced infrastructure costs, faster boarding times, and a more pleasant travel experience for honest passengers. It's a perfect example of how Austrian society prioritizes social cohesion over paranoid security measures. This might completely change how you think about European beauty standards. Austrian women have developed what beauty researchers call reserved elegance, a look that's almost the opposite of the bold, attention-seeking styles popular on social media. According to a 2024 study by the Vienna Institute of Demography, Austrian women deliberately cultivate what they call quiet confidence. Unlike the vibrant, expressive styles common in Southern Europe, Austrian women prefer understated makeup, natural hair colors, and clothing that suggests wealth without being flashy. But here's what's fascinating. This reserved approach actually makes them stand out more in our attention-saturated world. Travel bloggers and international dating sites consistently rank Austrian women among Europe's most attractive. Not because they're trying to impress, but because they're completely comfortable being themselves. The statistics support this uniqueness. According to Eurostat's 2024 social survey, Austrian women spend 40% less on cosmetics than the EU average. Yet Austria has one of Europe's highest rates of international marriage proposals. Their approach proves that authentic confidence is more attractive than expensive beauty routines. When Austrians retire, they don't just stop working. They can register as full-time volunteers and receive tax benefits as incentives for staying active. According to the Austrian Federal Ministry of Social Affairs, over 45% of Austrian retirees participate in structured volunteer programs. Austrian retirees contribute an estimated 2.8 billion euros worth of services annually through volunteer work. They staff museums, mentor young entrepreneurs, maintain hiking trails, and even provide specialized consulting services to small businesses. The program addresses what gerontologists call retirement depression, the sense of uselessness many people feel when leaving careers. Austrian retirees report higher life satisfaction scores than their counterparts in countries without structured volunteer systems. According to the European Social Survey, 2024, what's remarkable is how this creates intergenerational cooperation. Young Austrians work alongside volunteer retirees, creating knowledge transfer that benefits both groups. It's a perfect example of how Austria thinks systematically about social challenges, rather than just letting problems develop naturally. Most people know Austria for classical music and mountains, but according to Austrian Trade Commission data, the country produces luxury brands that dominate global markets in surprising categories. Swarovski crystal, for example, isn't just Austrian. It controls over 30% of the global crystal market and supplies crystals for luxury fashion brands worldwide. According to Swarovski's 2024 annual report, their crystals appear in everything from Chanel haute couture to smartphone cameras. Spar supermarkets, now operating in 48 countries, started as a small Austrian grocery cooperative in 1954. According to Spar International's data, they now generate over 40 billion euros in annual revenue globally while maintaining their Austrian headquarters. But the most surprising Austrian global success might be in technology. Austrian companies lead European markets in specialized manufacturing equipment, environmental technology, and precision instruments that most consumers never see but depend on daily. Red Bull alone generates over 7 billion euros annually and has created an entire industry of energy drinks, extreme sports marketing, and lifestyle branding that started from a single Austrian entrepreneur's idea. The final and perhaps most profound fact about Austrian life is how they've solved what philosophers call the paradox of choice, while creating genuine life satisfaction that goes far beyond material comfort. Austria ranks 14th in the United Nations World Happiness Report 2024, ahead of the United States at 23rd and France at 23rd. But Austrian happiness isn't based on excitement or achievement. It's based on something they call Gemütlichkeit, a concept that roughly translates to cozy contentment, but encompasses much more. Austrians have consciously chosen to prioritize life satisfaction over material accumulation or professional achievement. The average Austrian changes careers only 1.7 times during their working life, compared to 4.2 times for Americans, reflecting a preference for stability and mastery over constant reinvention. Austrian culture celebrates what they call the art of enough. Rather than always striving for more money, bigger houses, or higher status, Austrians focus on optimizing what they have. This isn't complacency, it's a sophisticated understanding of what actually creates life satisfaction. The Austrian concept of time is fundamentally different from other cultures. They distinguish between clock time, which governs work and appointments, and lifetime, which is for relationships, reflection, and personal growth. Austrians protect their lifetime fiercely, viewing it as equally important as productive time. Austrian social rituals reinforce community bonds and personal well-being. So there you have it, 15 absolutely mind-blowing facts about Austria that completely challenge everything you thought you knew about this small alpine nation. If you found these facts as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible discoveries about the world's most remarkable countries. In the comments below, let me know which fact surprised you the most, and tell me, after learning all of this, would you consider visiting or even moving to Austria? I read every single comment and love hearing about your thoughts and experiences. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Your support truly means the world. Wishing you the best of luck. If you thought Germany was famous for its efficient engineering, strict punctuality, and impressive speed limits on the Autobahn, prepare to be surprised. This is a country where dressing up on some beaches can actually make you stand out, and where men sitting down to pee is a common sign of respect. From a thriving adult entertainment industry to a society where escaping from prison is not considered a crime, and you can even get financial help to return home, Germany is full of interesting secrets. If you're curious about a side of Europe you never imagined, these 15 surprising facts will give you a truly unforgettable look at what makes Germany so special. Sounds shocking, but in Germany you might actually get called out for wearing clothes at the beach. This is one of the oldest and most serious body freedom cultures in Europe. In areas marked FKK, being naked isn't just accepted, it's an unwritten rule. If you walk into a public sauna wearing a swimsuit, people will look at you as if you're being rude. It's estimated that around 600,000 Germans are official members of over 300 body freedom clubs, with millions more participating unofficially. Germans are also the biggest group of tourists at nude beaches in Croatia, France, and Spain. Interestingly, this culture isn't limited to beaches. You'll find it at resorts, parks, and even hiking trails in the countryside. You might see people jogging outdoors wearing nothing but sneakers and a small backpack. It's not a joke. It's a lifestyle protected by law and respected by society. In Germany, the adult entertainment industry is not only completely legal, but has grown to an astonishing scale. The highlight of Cologne is Paschke, an 11-story, 120-room building that was once called the world's largest adult entertainment supermarket. It has a gym, restaurants, bars, and even private parking for VIPs. With thousands of customers every day, a place like Paschke can earn between $2.3 million and $5.85 million a year. The total turnover of the industry in Germany is estimated at more than $17.5 billion. Don't be surprised if you see streets like Reeperbahn in Hamburg, which is full of bars and nightclubs, but also full of adult shops, strip clubs, and when you go into the streets and alleys, full of commercial activities. On the main street, you will really see people of all ages. Tourists, sometimes even children, walking down the street and visiting adult shops, because they often have bright windows and open doors, like tourist souvenir shops. Germany is one of 9 European countries where adult services are legal and regulated, making Germany the largest market for these services in Europe. Are you a man who's used to standing up to pee? In Germany, this habit could actually land you in court. This culture runs so deep that many private apartments, restaurants, and eateries in Germany have signs saying, "Please pee sitting down." Some places even have sensors that play a reminder if someone tries to pee standing up. You'll see these signs in small public restrooms, private homes, and especially shared spaces. But it's not just about cleanliness. It's an unspoken rule about respect, especially for the person cleaning up. To Germans, standing up to pee in a small bathroom with wooden floors is seen as selfish. Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It truly helps me out, and I promise to bring you even more awesome content. Why would this even be surprising? Well, in the US, there is actually no legal requirement for how many vacation days or how much paid time off employers have to give their employees. According to Forbes magazine, the average American worker only gets 10 days of paid vacation per year. After 5 years of service, this increases to 15 days on average, and after 10 years, it's 17 days. Which means that, on average, even after 10 years of working at the same company, an American employee still gets fewer vacation days than the legal minimum in Germany, which is 20 days per year for a 5-day workweek. Most employers offer more vacation days than that. On average, it's around 28 vacation days per year, and you are usually also encouraged to take all of those vacation days. And no, that does not include sick days. Those aren't limited at all. According to Forbes, Americans get 8 of those on average, meaning that if they have to call in sick on more than 8 days, they don't get paid for those days anymore. In Germany, you usually just call in sick and that's it. If you're sick for longer than 3 days in a row, you usually have to submit a doctor's notice, but you'll still get paid. You could date someone for 6 months, go out to dinner, travel together, even meet their parents. But when you ask, what are we to each other, they'll just say, we're still getting to know each other. In Germany, dating doesn't mean being in a relationship, and that's not the exception. It's the unspoken rule you'll need to accept if you live here. This phase usually lasts 3 to 6 months, during which both people can date others as long as they're honest. There's no boyfriend-girlfriend label, no promises, and definitely no I miss you every day texts. In fact, not texting every day is totally normal in Germany. Statistics show that Tinder users in Germany, of which more than 70% are men, women, especially foreign women, are more sought after, but also more likely to fall into in-between relationships. Some couples even live together in shared apartments with clear rent agreements. They buy groceries together, split chores, but still declare themselves single and have no emotional obligations unless they agree otherwise. Just arrived in Berlin and planning to buy bread at the supermarket on a Sunday evening? Most of the shops are closed, most people are not working, and it feels a bit like a ghost town. In Germany, Sunday is a completely quiet day. The locals call it Ruhezeit. That means that on Sundays and weeknights after 10 p.m., you are not allowed to drill holes, mow your lawn, play loud music, throw parties, or make any significant noise even in your own apartment. Even a noisy vacuum cleaner at noon can cause your neighbors to call the police, and you could end up with a complaint from your neighbors, a fine, or, in the worst case, even a court appearance. Why is this law in place? Germany values the balance between work and rest. Sunday is a sacred time to visit family, hang out in the park, go to church, or just do nothing. Instead of shopping, they opt for real rest. There are a few exceptions. Hospitals, police, fire departments, and some sports facilities can still operate. If you sneeze in public in Germany, don't be surprised if strangers turn to you and say, Gesundheit, which means good health. It's just one of those tiny but thoughtful unspoken rules in German culture. The word Gesundheit comes from an old tradition, when people believed a sneeze could let your soul escape. And this wish was like a magic shield to protect you from evil spirits. Science has replaced superstition, but the habit remains a national courtesy, much like bless you in the US. Fun fact, if you sneeze 3 times in a row, Germans will patiently say Gesundheit every time as if it's a cultural reflex. But if you don't reply with a Danke, which means thank you, you might get a slightly unfriendly look. Most taxis in Germany are Mercedes cars. In the US, taxis can be all kinds of different car brands, and in a lot of cases they're just your regular Ford, Honda, Toyota, and other cheaper cars. In Germany, you'll see different car brands as well, but Mercedes-Benz has been the most popular and most common taxi car brand for as long as anyone can remember, specifically their E-Class model, or for bigger cabs, the V-Class. However, Mercedes actually announced that they're not going to offer the E-Class in the taxi version anymore starting this year. So maybe the era of Mercedes cabs is coming to an end. It's important to keep in mind, though, that while Mercedes cars are definitely nice and expensive cars, in Germany they're not considered super high-end luxury cars the same way they are in the US. In fact, according to statistics, Mercedes are the second most common cars on German streets, right behind Volkswagen. Growing up, many Germans had friends who had a Mercedes as their family car, so maybe that's also why they never found it weird that that's the model of their taxis. Yes, you heard correctly. In the US and in Canada, breaking out of prison is considered a criminal offense, and if you get caught, it'll most likely lead to your prison sentence being extended. But in Germany, if you're incarcerated and manage to escape, that's actually considered part of a human's natural desire for freedom, and ties back to the very first paragraph of their constitution, the Grundgesetz, that says human dignity shall be inviolable. The German people therefore acknowledge inviolable and inalienable human rights as the basis of every community of peace and of justice in the world. So since the desire to be free is considered part of human nature, breaking out of prison is not counted as an additional charge in Germany and won't extend your sentence. What is illegal, however, is helping a prisoner to break out, and if the prisoner commits other criminal offenses in order to escape, such as damage of property or assault, they can be charged for those. If they do get caught, they might also get disciplined by the prison for violating the prison rules. And it might hurt their chances for an early release. Just a little bonus fact, German prisons are actually considered some of the nicest and most humane prisons in the world, and they have a very different philosophy compared to American prisons. Oktoberfest is not a cultural holiday like Thanksgiving or Carnival that people celebrate all over Germany. Oktoberfest is folk festival or beer festival. Yes, it's the biggest one in Germany and even the biggest one in the entire world. And there are events in other parts of Germany and all over the world that use the Oktoberfest theme, and that are even called Oktoberfest. Most Germans from outside of Munich have never even been to Oktoberfest, and the vast majority of them don't plan on ever going either. At the end of the day, Oktoberfest is just one of over 9,000 Volksfests that take place in Germany every year. After Oktoberfest, the biggest ones are the Cannstatter Volksfest in Stuttgart, the Rheinkirmes in Düsseldorf, the Kieler Volk, which is an annual sailing event in Kiel up by the Baltic Sea, and many, many more. So no, Germans don't celebrate Oktoberfest when they're not in Munich. It's not something you celebrate, you either attend it or you don't. And they don't say things like Happy Oktoberfest to each other either. Germany's Autobahn, known as one of the few places in the world where you can drive without a speed limit, has actually become a popular tourist destination for car enthusiasts. First of all, many people seem to believe that the Autobahn is some kind of racetrack or a single street in Germany. But in fact, Autobahn is simply the German word for highway or interstate, so the Autobahn actually stretches across the entire country. But don't be surprised if you get in your car and immediately see a speed limit sign, because while there is no universal speed limit for the entire Autobahn, about 30% of the Autobahn actually has a permanent speed limit sign. And on about 10%, you'll see temporary speed limits due to construction zones. Still, about 60% of the Autobahn has no speed limit at all. So yes, you'll see cars going 200, 250 kilometers per hour or faster, whizzing by in the blink of an eye. So make sure to stay out of the left lane unless you're the fastest driver or you're passing someone else. But then always make sure to get back into the right lane as soon as possible and never pass someone on the right. In the US, people always pass on the right on the interstate, and as long as there are more than 2 lanes, it's actually legal. But on the German Autobahn, you always have to stay as far to the right as possible. However, while there is no posted speed limit on the entire Autobahn, there is something called a recommended speed limit, and that is 130 kilometers per hour. You are still allowed to go faster than that when there are no posted speed limits, but in the event of an accident, you may be considered partially at fault even if you did not cause the accident, meaning you or your insurance company may have to pay for some of the damages. Do you believe a little pig can bring you luck for a whole year? In Germany, every New Year's you'll see chubby pigs everywhere, from gifts and candy to greeting cards, and it's not random. This symbol goes back to the Middle Ages, when owning a fat pig meant wealth and prosperity. In old farming communities, having lots of pigs meant you were rich, and a pig for New Year's was a treasure. Over time, the pig became a symbol of good luck and fortune for the year ahead. Today, Germans often give each other little pigs made of chocolate, marzipan, or porcelain to wish a year of abundance. According to the German Confectionery Association, over 40 million pig-themed New Year's gifts are sold each year, especially in southern states like Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. In some rural areas, people even hold lucky pig festivals, where real pigs are decorated with red ribbons, race each other, or pose for photos with visitors as a New Year. In Germany, if you drop a glove, scarf, or even a hat, you might not lose it forever. Just look up at a nearby tree. Instead of pocketing it or handing it to the police, Germans have a habit of hanging found items on tree branches, fences, or park benches. It's a small but civilized act. In Berlin, you'll see lost and found trees along the street with all sorts of things. A forgotten kid's hat, a single lost glove, or even a winter coat hung neatly like in a store. Because even have a fun name for these trees, Funbaum, or lost property tree. A survey found over 78% of Germans say they're willing to return found items, and hanging it on a tree is seen as part of the culture of respecting personal property. In some neighborhoods, people even set up a special lost and found hook near the train station as a lost item transfer station. The capital of Germany is Berlin, which is the largest city in the country. This city is famous all over the world for its history and modern lifestyle. The nightlife of this city is also very famous throughout Europe. The bars and nightclubs are open all night long because Germans appreciate their social time. The architecture of this city is also very old and historically significant. The public transportation system throughout the city is excellent. You can easily move around the city by tram, which is one of the cheapest ways to travel. For only about $3.5, you can ride for 100 to 120 minutes. The city is also very clean. You will not find any litter anywhere. One reason for this is that people put empty plastic and glass bottles into recycling machines, which the government also pays for. This doesn't spread waste. At the same time, the government saves on cleaning costs, and people are happy after receiving the money back. The hardest thing in Germany is renting a house because the rent is very high. You may have to rent a room in the suburbs. Usually the rent is about $820 to $1,170 per month. Food is about $350. Health insurance is about $140 to $525, and other expenses bringing the total monthly cost up to about $1,640 to $1,990. This is a country where the government treats its citizens like a caring parent. It can also be called a welfare state in the true sense. If you lose your job and until you find a new job, the government will also support you with money based on the number of children you have. Usually if you have one child, you will receive about $290. If you have two children, you will receive about $585. You get health insurance based on your income, but one problem that always exists is that getting a doctor's appointment is a very difficult task. There you have it. 15 amazing facts about Germany that show this country is so much more than just efficient engineering and punctual trains. From nude beach culture to prison escape laws, from silent Sundays to sitting while peeing, Germany continues to surprise and fascinate visitors from around the world. These cultural quirks and social norms make Germany one of the most unique countries in Europe, where tradition meets modernity in the most unexpected ways. Whether you're planning to visit, study, or live in Germany, understanding these cultural insights will help you navigate this fascinating country with confidence and respect. And who knows, you might even find yourself embracing some of these uniquely German ways of life. What surprised you most about these German facts? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing travel documentaries that uncover the hidden secrets of countries around the world. We are so glad you are with us today. Please leave a comment, like the video to support us, and subscribe for more videos. See you soon. Russia has changed a lot since then. Today I want to tell you about the unique life I experienced when I came to Russia. Imagine entering a 212-deck room where strangers offer to perform a platza ritual on your naked body using bundles of birch branches, a practice considered rude to refuse in Russia. This unconventional ritual, where people gently beat each other with Venic bundles, birch, oak, or eucalyptus branches, offers remarkable health benefits. A platza increases circulation by 400%, opens pores, releases